gaming bets. Online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dota Pit League Season 5 European Qualifier. This is the last qualifier, and then we will have all our invited teams to head out to Croatia to compete at the Dota Pit LAN. I am Coddle Guy for Beyond the Summit, and joining me on the co-cast is going to be everybody's favorite caster, Rhyme. Hi, Rhyme. How you doing?
That's optimistic. Everybody. That's a large group of people.
You're everybody's favorite caster, just like this is everyone's favorite patch or everyone's favorite UI, and Monkey King's everyone's favorite hero. You know, it's just like that.
I don't know. I'm just very offended and also quite flattered.
Well,
so yeah,
we have a whole new Dota before us here, Rhyme. The new journey. How's your journey been so far?
I've had some fun trying out some heroes. Like you got Stronger Queen of Pain exists now as opposed to not existing before.
Mm-hmm.
There you got lots of people running around, bounty rune fights. You got people trying to lots of roaming, but I think people just challenge the lanes a lot more, and you see people just running off to the jungle less. There's a lot more stuff happening. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And you say there's a whole new Dota before us, but they've got the two heroes again. Got those two. Those two
at the bottom right there. Yeah. Because that's the thing. Firstly, I'm going to go ahead and put the warning out there that a lot of the game has obviously changed. We all know this. Mistakes will be made. Stuff will not be addressed that is obviously new. There may even be some crashes along the way. I don't know how many micro updates Valve rolled out overnight while I was sleeping.
Have they fixed the Darkseer thing yet? Because I don't know.
Oh, no.
There's something about creating illusions of enemy team heroes. That's a thing. Like Terrorblade causes the crash. Darkseer, everyone knows he causes the crash.
Manta.
So
Yeah.
Manta can also cause the crash. Yeah, I saw that clip as well.
10
So what
seconds
elements
remaining.
programming them? They've got a very good strategy here. So they've affected the game host,
5 seconds
saying that
remaining.
if necessary, then if the illusions become too much, then they will press the wall button.
Reserve
Yeah.
time.
And that will be that.
And what they can hope for at that point is that, alternate attacks modem blows up, something happens from how great that wall play was, and they won't be able to come back into the game, and they will have that 5 versus 4 advantage. It's a good way to play a lot of leverage with what's available in the patch right now.
Because a lot of the time, people take what is in pro Dota and they apply it to pubs, and it's often not quite as effective. But this is one strategy that's far more effective in pubs, because when everyone disconnects in the pub, the game ceases to count. So when you do it when you're losing, then you can guarantee the safety of your points. But in a pro Dota game, that's not actually what's happened. So you can just force a crash, and you can pause for a little bit, get a bit of thinking time, if that's really how you want to use it. But I don't think they've done it for that reason. I think they just want and a hero that runs people, which Ogre is. And you see like Lone Druid bans, people thinking that hero's pretty good now.
10
Shadow Fiend as well.
remaining.
You ban Slark to Swift Ending because he is actually Slark in real
5
life.
seconds
He's
remaining.
literally just Slark. And OD as well. Cole plays that, I believe. Yeah.
Reserve time.
It's going to be interesting. It's obvious, and I would imagine rhyme for a lot of these teams, and based on these picks already, even though there's probably going to be like a whole new meta forming here very soon with how the game's going to be played and how much fighting there's actually going on. For now, though, teams seem to be just going with what's comfortable or what they've been drilling in scrims recently and what they feel like is going to be able to get them a win. It's not
10
quite the
seconds
time
remaining.
to experiment yet, and probably not for these couple of
5
games.
seconds
Alliance
remaining.
is set to play after this, and that might be a whole new ball game. But for now, these teams,
Reserve
their
time.
Dota Pit life is on the line with this series. So I don't know how much crazy experimentation. I mean, I don't know if you saw, like, recently Sylar playing that core Lich, trying to utilize all of his new attack capabilities he apparently has gained.
I didn't see that. No,
Yeah,
how
so
did that go?
who knows what is going to be in store for us today. So it's going to be an interesting day. I don't even know what that third hero is down there at the bottom. It says Slardar, but it doesn't look like him anymore. Nonetheless, he's going to be fitting the bill here for Team Alternate right now.
Oh, I saw someone with the there's a cosmetic that gives him his little glowy thing back. Can't remember what it's called now. The lure, yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
the
yeah.
glowy lure thing. And that's a Tusk. That's a hero I have not seen in many an age.
Yeah, not since I want to say like TI5 era. Very, very popular
Yeah,
there.
the nerfs that hit him after that kind of broke him because he
10
wasn't a good
seconds
offlaner anymore, and he wasn't that good of a support anymore. But yeah. Basically, what happens after the
5
patch, I
seconds
think,
remaining.
or after most patches, this is the biggest one that there's ever been, probably, is that
Reserved
everyone takes what they used to do, and they see how it works in the new one, and then they make tiny little changes, and tiny little changes, tiny little changes,
Yeah.
and then eventually everything's completely different within like 2 or 3 weeks, and everyone's playing completely different things. Like, someone goes, actually, you saw how that Luna was really, really farmed in that game and just kind of died to whatever. Like, you got, maybe she died to an SF with 800 range, you go, oh, SF's really, really good, and then you go and start picking SF more, and then you, like, the meta becomes what's good against SF, and then people work out SF isn't very good, and then you pick what's good against him, and then everyone's used to playing those heroes, so they'll play those instead, and it just kind of dynamically changes rather naturally.
Do you think that even though we tend to go in this kind of crazy cycle of Dota, with this particular patch, do you think the cycle could be broken dramatically? Like, I'm looking at a situation where we could even see, like, the lanes and the, like, priority of lanes. Like, there's a lot of people talking about, like, recently I read Tsunami's article a bit, and when you really think about, like, the shrines now that are in play, those new TP points, the new
10
capability of being able
seconds
to,
remaining.
throw everything you got in the laning phase and then just double
5
back
seconds
a few feet
remaining.
over to a shrine to replenish, go back and do it again. People are starting to think that that could change the dynamic of the laning phase, and we could be seeing,
Yeah,
what
there's
used
a
to
lot
be
of-
the safe lane not be a safe lane anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that. Basically, around TI5 there was,
Dire
like,
team back.
everyone was worshipping C-Deck, because what they did is they would go and smoke every single time a catapult was up, and they'd take a tier 1, and they'd take another tier 1, and then before you knew it, you'd lost every single tier 1, you maybe lost some heroes and ganks somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And then that was a thing, because losing tier 1s meant you lost control of Roche, so then they could smoke and
10
basically
seconds
move wherever they wanted
remaining.
on the map. And now, if you think about it, you make some early rotations in this patch, you
5
get a few
seconds
kills, you take
remaining.
some tier 1s, which are relatively weaker than they used to be, I think.
Reserve
Or
time.
they're easier to take than they used to be. But you have to go and get all the tier 2s to take the shrines, and you retain map control even if you lose all your tier 1s, because you can still TP to those areas. And I think that is one of the most it's one of the most dramatic changes, I think. Because
I can agree with that, yeah.
it kind of detracts from the benefit of taking early map control, really, I think.
There's a lot of crazy changes here, Rhyme, that I'm sure we're gonna like. Oh yeah, and there's that thing now. There's that thing now in the game, and we got to accept that as part of the game, or you're not playing the game at the level that everyone else is. We'll probably be saying along the similar theme a lot today here, but back at the actual draft, rounding out the last few picks, Elements getting rid of the Alchemist here,
10 seconds
and
remaining.
back the way of Alternate, they X-nay on both 2 prime mid lane
5
pickups here
seconds
between the
remaining.
OD and the Invoker. So now Elements need to consider what's left, and knowing they're going to be picking their mid laner into an unknown matchup right now. So you're thinking something that's going to be able to work outside of a Chrono, utilize the power of a Darkseer Black or a Vacuum Wall, ranged mid lane dominator. What are we thinking here? I mean, Razor kind of sticks out a bit, but I don't know. It's 7.0, goddammit. Could be anything.
Yeah, it really could be a lot of things.
5 seconds remaining.
Timbersaw, okay.
All right, then.
The
Radiant
Slayer of the
team
Slardar
pick.
hero, Slayer of the Tusk hero, good against illusions usually. Not so good against Eclipse, but Luna's damage in like rather busy team fights is mostly physical because Eclipse often has a lot of targets. So, and you can also pick up Hood and stuff like that on Timber. So, ooh,
A mildly spicy pick there. It's kind of like the cumin of this draft, I'll like to say. But unless Shrek comes out, I mean, if this was Complexity, I'd say nothing new, but Alternate aTTaX whipping it out here as, I imagine being their mid laner. A good little throwback
Yeah,
also to TI5. Tusk and Shrek here. Alternate are like, it's 7.0, let's just flip the page back a couple of times. Let's work from that.
yeah. Let's see how Leshrac fares up to the Ogre and the Dark, because I think this Ogre is going to pay a visit to a lot of squishy heroes, and I think Leshrac tops that list. So I think this game is going to completely revolve around if Faceless Void has a good time, and if like the Slardar gets a lot, like the Slardar could die to Disruptor and Void when Void gets more levels. And the UI came in really late there. That was scary. I was like, what's happening? Alright.
Yeah, that was weird. I was kind of hoping we were going to get to see the versus screen as well, but apparently in Captain's
no, we get
mode,
deprived of that.
we don't get that.
Yeah.
That's a shame, because I was getting ready to like, ladies and gentlemen, get hype, get ready. And
Oh, LeBron's going for the smoke ward play. Starts boots first. Alright, he gets that one ward down for mid.
all right, you know, I remember when I was like first peeking into some of the first competitive games of 7.0, and it was going to be interesting to see just kind of everyone waltzing around like, okay, where do the wards go now? What's a good ward spot now? Like, if I'm to TP right away and try to get down the best vision possible for my success in the laning phase, what ward spots are those? And are these the spots you think?
I noticed about this, I think, yeah, I think the mid ward is always going to be one that's kind of necessary. You've got this one, which, this ward, near the top bounty rune, it
30
controls
seconds
the
to
entire
go.
way into this jungle. It also shows the hard camp. It allows controlling the bounty rune a lot easier. Like, wait, is this on the? It's on the same level as the bounty rune, right? This ward. So it sees people who are walking up to it and walking up to your small camp. So it allows protecting the pool rather easier, and it stops easier rotations. The thing about this patch is the map is constructed differently now.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more restrictive, I find. To go from A to B, like, you can't like go as the crow flies anymore, which you used to almost be able to do. It was.
Yeah, I felt like,
So that-
you know, and it's funny because I was going to get ready to go into a thought like, we're not going to see as much level 1 skirmishes without teams really taking a lot of risk. Like, even here, Alternate, you know, just investing 2 into that top rune spot, but it looks like it's going to be split pretty even from both sides here. I mean, do you think we're going to be seeing a lot more level 1 skirmishes because of the new lane or the map positioning and where the runes are, or do you think we'll probably end up in kind of the similar position we were last time?
I think people play pretty safe. Like, obviously, there's some things where you'll protect one room for your mid usually. Sometimes you realize you have a weak like level 1, and you're against Luna SD. You're probably going to lose that rune fight. Slardar and Tusk probably have multiple stuns, so you're probably going to lose that rune fight as well. So you all play safe. And honestly, 100 gold isn't that much in any individual case, but losing like 3 of the bounty runes, it can make quite a bit of difference. And LeBron is being Ogre.
Yeah, I mean, as expected, LeBron running around a bit, even bullying back the Tuskar quite a bit, and Tuskar, who I want to say is Ninja777, but that is not the case. He fools me with his Ninja. but now snowballing up, looking to go for Gogi here under the tower, and they will secure that first blood already for ATN. Swift ending, though, not having any of it, goes in with the time leap, trying to get some peppering up, and will be able to get it done. They return fire, and even the score 1-1. Nice.
Yeah, of all the times to stun there, like, right as the stun came up, he bashed, so that's unfortunate for Slardar, man.
Yeah. So, convenient RNG there for Swift ending. We'll be able to at least get things right back their way, and with the core being able to snag up that extra bit of gold, does favor them a bit. But there was the first blood bounty there for ATN, and Tuskar already making an early laning impression. Curious where he goes now. Try to head back towards the top lane, but it looks like the Ogre has made that committed shift, and he'll have to settle instead towards the mid lane here.
Yeah, this Leshrac is the most vulnerable, I think, and I think the Ogre really has to... Sardar's already had a good enough start. He's got level 3 now, he's got 2 bounty runes or whatever now, and he's got guaranteed waves of experience, so he's going to be comparable to the Void in terms of farm and XP for the first few minutes at least. And I think because the Ogre didn't start top, this Void is going to have a bit of a difficult time, and the Sardar's going to be basically guaranteed like a free and tranquil boots and be able to like take early fights.
Yeah.
But he did that to ensure that the Timbersaw didn't get zoned out early, so he got to the high levels of reactive, so Leshrac couldn't really be a kind of spooky hero, which he can be to heroes, and I think Timber can be included in that early on. So I think it's a reasonable decision for LeBron.
Uh-oh, Tuskar, they swarmed around him, they hit him with an early Thunder Strike, he gets the roll committed into the creep wave, and it will send him back and out. Obviously, it's too early on to have any sort of level, even into Glimpse for the Disruptor, so let's let that one slide. Tusk just continuing to try to be a little bit of a pain in the ass here for Elements Pro Gaming. Oh, I see they got the team logo working. I wasn't sure, I heard a lot of problems with some of the tickets, but it looks like the tickets are working, at least on this one. A shame, though, they haven't moved the KDA. I'm glad they got it in, so you don't have to hit Alt, but why there, dude?
Oh, it's just obstructing, yeah. Like, I would put it, like, there's so much space between the minimap and the HUD. It's a bit...
It's a shame.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll find their
way.
way. They'll find their way. It happens.
I'm one of the people that would prefer if it just went back to how it was, but that's probably a bit too much to ask. But yeah. So I'm just looking at bot now. Luna's starting to get a bit more pressured by Iron Shells as Darkseid hits level 5. Ogre's staying around now because the 2 level 5 Iron Shells is quite dangerous for a hero like SD because he can't really protect himself very easily. He can only disrupt one target after all.
Convenient bash here. Top lane, they're looking to go in and get Gogi once again. The snowball will be in there with the crush, but they may have committed a bit too far. Plus that kinetic field kind of locks him in a bit. Awkward position now as Nisha turns the corner, tries to slide himself through the trees, looks to go back in for another crush and some attacks here. Can they at least get the takedown of the Disruptor? They're going to go for it. Shards, not going to be enough. Gogi's able to turn around, get the auto attack, and get the kill. A hard committed dive by aTTaX in the top lane, and it will slap him on the wrist as he runs back out. But, oh, okay, that's nice.
He's still going.
Nice little bash right here. Swift ending. Just needs one more click or 10 more seconds to get her done, and it's not going to be necessary. The creep's going to help him out with that, pat him on the back, and it's going to be Faceless Void with the takedown. 3-1 going for Elements Pro Gaming.
Yeah, I felt the shards kind of worked against them there, because what happened is the snowball opened up on top of the shards, so they had nowhere to go, so they ended up in their own shards, and they couldn't follow up on the Disruptor. And then it happened again where the shards kind of zoned them out from being able to do damage.
We got some trouble here on our Shadow Demon. He's getting hustled down by LeBron, but suddenly he turns it around, and they're just going to pop off onto the Ogre easily with the Soul Catcher bonus, and everyone swarming in on the 3 versus 1. He didn't really stand a chance. Good block as well, coming out with those shards.
Yeah, that's rough. First actual fight with the Ogre Darkseer, and you immediately feed a kill to Luna. Now you have to fight against Eclipse if she ever does get any mana. And Darkseid probably will try and extricate himself from the situation. And Cole is surrounded.
Yep. Mid lane, another Soul Catcher and Disruption combo going to be set up. Leshrac dishing out the pretty damage here, and it's going to be easily enough to take down the machine in the mid lane. Game now evened up as ATN will secure that kill and make it 3-3. Nice little start here to get them back on the grindstone, because top lane was definitely looking a bit iffy for them. But they just abandoned that lane, and they're looking for just some action across the board.
Yeah, so Void's going for Vlad, so if he wants to... They want to fight quite a bit early. He's not really going for Lincolns or anything like that. He's not really trying to go for like the 15-20 minute mark. He actually wants to just fight with his first few Chronos, I think. Maybe when he hits level 11 or no 12 now, he'll probably be a warrior. I'm just looking towards mid lane. I'm just wondering, like, how does this Timbersaw like actually enter fights now? Because there's not much for them to have to use disruption on. They can save it for him.
Bottom lane. They have found a Darkseer a little too far from home. Mitch, though, runs right through the creeps, hoping to soak up that Eclipse, but even though the Eclipse doesn't do a lot of work, they're still able to kind of get the job done. He's going to be taken apart. Elements are in the area here, with Swift Ending now, rushing on forward, that Chrono in his pocket, but he's not going to commit anything. And we'll just turn back in a way, a loss for Elements on that one.
Yeah, they have to really use Chrono or Disruptor to kill anyone, so they have to get Disruptor level 6, which they will be giving him the top lane for. Void will take the bot lane now that Eclipse is down. There's pretty much no way he can die. So I like the way the Elements are controlling the lanes to get the most out that they possibly can, but it's just, will they be able to take enough fights before ST Luna just kind of runs rampant? I'm just slightly worried that they won't, because Timbersaw, he dies in a Leshrac combo with any kind of follow-up stun. There's always Slardar, Tusk. He can die to Leshrac with any of these heroes around, and it's not easy for him to actually go for kills because he's.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But he needs like a hood and all this stuff.
I mean, is there anything to say for the fact that just with where 7.0 is and how it seems like everyone is okay? Hold on here, a nice little convenient bash here onto your Shadow Demon in the bottom lane. Swift Ending going to commit forward, and with the help of the Ion Shell, they make easy work of the little support, and that's now a killing spree on your Void. So Faceless Void getting buffed, but the point I was going to be making was with 7.0 and the fact that it does take less XP overall to kind of get to your end game, and I don't know, especially as supports, the money's flooding in a lot more often and more in quantity. Heroes that normally would look scary because of how things are going in the early game, supports are still managing to make money somehow, or at least not lose as much money. So, I don't know, do you think comeback potential is just easier to come by with this match?
Yeah, I don't think you end up in a situation where, like, you know, when you're really underfarm support, like, and you see that there's a Luna with a Manta and a Helm with a Dom at 20 minutes or something, and she's just hitting your building, and you can't really stop her from taking Rex because you have like 1k HP and half a 2k gold item or something like that. You don't really end up in that situation, I think, anymore. But there's a smoke coming up from Elements, and they're gonna jump on the Luna.
Got that illusion though, easy by Swift Ending. Obviously, sarcasm there, as he will be swing and a miss on his first Chrono, and I would bet your Bippy that ATN is going to try to do something as a response play. Knowing that Chrono is going to be down, that is a huge loss to their team fight.
Leshrac is half HP though, so need to be careful.
Yeah, he's flirting around, maybe seeing if he can goat them into stretching past the tower a bit. He will eat the Ignite, and Elements just kind of only get to soften up the tower just a bit, and then they'll have to kind of peace out. So, ATN, good illusion. I don't know. Unfortunate there for Elements. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board and farm a bit more.
Yeah, that's pretty big though. Wasting the first Chrono. I think they could have taken a fight and maybe chat like. I don't think they could really put towers in any danger at this point. But okay, so Slardar's level 8. He's got trying to work out what the gold thing is. He's getting pretty close to his dagger, only 400 away, or 500.
Close. And
the Disruptor is level 6 now, so they
he gets a glimpse back on the Tusk. Looks like they'll isolate and try to take him out. I was going to say if they were able to kind of get the Slardar involved, that would prolong his Blink Dagger a bit, but they'll just go for the easy pick there. And Tusk will pay the price, as Elements have already shifted away from that bottom to mid lane skirmish and have taken the business all the way to the top. But Luna down here hasn't even stepped away from his bottom lane all game. Doesn't really need to. Now the pesky illusion battle begins to come out, and she will just work her way through this tier 1. And we're going to have to see if Elements are going to do anything as a response or not. Otherwise, this Luna could just fall up into a trouble.
Ogre's made his mark. He's defending the tier 1 tower or something. Yeah, they're just not going to go for that tower now that he's there, because
it's Ogre.
At any point Void could TP down and start bashing people. They actually don't have... ATM, they don't really have much to fight with other than catching people out at this point. Until Leshrac gets tanky enough to survive like a Timbersaw combo, or people can reliably last long enough in Chrono for an SD Disrupt to come out. I don't think they can really take many fights, because there's too many heroes running around with Iron Shell in the ideal situation for Dire.
Smoke play here from aTTaX.
What they have to do.
They're hoping to
They're really
creep in.
hoping
Swift
Void gets
Ending's
tempted.
nearby. He's got that leap, though. If he spots him and leaps out, he's gone. I mean, he didn't really have to react too fast. Oh, he tried to go for a chrono drop, but we'll be able to get it there, right on the edge of the bubble. We'll be able to make the move, looking to get that Leshrac exotic deer. Committing out everything he can, but it's not going to be good enough. Swift Ending will grab that kill. They'll split it a piece, but it is the core Leshrac for the little support disruptor on this one. Oh, wait, that's not core Leshrac. Oh, no, it is. Rolling on forward now. Swift Ending in a bit of trouble as he gets crushed, but LeBron shows up, pops off with the Ignite, slows him down a bit. But now Shadow Demon rolls in, gets off the disruption. The Shard blocks him in. It's a 3v2 classic, but Ogre's so big, he's trying to club him back. Now Timbersaw shows up, and he's going to look to be the janitor on this one. Can he get the cleanup? Gets the Tusk down, and, well, everyone else heads to the hills here to make it back and away. Nisha, though, caught near this side shop, will be able to blink and leapfrog his way out to safety. That could have been very hairy for aTTaX, but they'll just take the one nab and walk away.
Yeah, I think if Void realized that this Sada was completely out of mana at that point, he would not have jumped back into the tier 1, and then he could have maybe fought with the Ogre, and that would have worked out.
Oh no, Lesh. Lesh just got back! And Lesh is dead again. Easily make the move in between the Darkseer and the Ogre, and he goes down. He's got no life. Very weak. Poor goat.
Yeah, this is the nightmare scenario where your cores are still really squishy. You've just got your dagger, but you had to show it in order to escape. So you're not really able to take fights as you want right now. There's the Darkseer who's getting closer and closer to mech. He's actually only 100 gold away, and he'll have it with his creep wave.
Ooh, rolling on in. Stun on for Mitch. Static Storm, vacuum turnaround though. Look at the Team Wombo combo come out. His elements are going to be able to quickly shred through aTTaX. Faye shows up to play, but now shows up to die as they just glimpse her right back into the action and go for a 4-man takedown. They'll get her done.
The Darkseer didn't end up dying in the end. Everyone else did.
Everyone. He didn't crash the game either, I will say that. So that is also a big positive on this one. Tier 1 goes down. Exotic Deer flirting around a bit. Did he go too close to trouble? It looks like he played with fire and, well, might have just gotten burned. Disruption tries to keep him alive, but the Chakram has been waiting and will shred him apart. 13-6 elements really opening up as we begin to segue into the mid game.
Yeah, so everything's kind of worked out now. Void is well on his way to Mantis, checking if there's a bounty rune there, but they're just going to have a lot of heroes with a lot of farm. Like Darkseer's going to have mech and the mana boots, and Timber's going to get his Bloodstone at some point, I assume, or he could go for Hood or something similar. But they're just going to get a lot of items up, and I think ATM, they need to take a they need to take a good fight, and they need to be able to push with SD to the point where Slardar can like remain hidden, and they can wait to counter initiate with him, because honestly, the counter initiation on elements is just way stronger with the disruptor and the run, all that kind of stuff.
Shadow Demon plants a ward. It was just in the back end of this smoke movement, but they're already far forward, looking to go for Faye. They get the glimpse pullback. Luna was just brought down in the mid lane, and it looks like they'll bring her down again. 2 ultimates committed to get that one done, but they will also get the takedown of the Tusk, as he was just trying to teleport in to assist his milady and in love, Luna. Not going to be good enough, though. 2 for 0 trade. Good smoke movement comes out. Elements on a fire at this point in the game, and
Timber,
top.
be careful.
They could get
he's
Timber.
got the Hood, though.
But yeah, he's got Hood. He is tanky. Barely seems to make too much of a mark on him. Swift Ending has now rotated over, but second guesses his commitments in. Tries to step over, runs into Shadow Demon, now gets crushed, and they will be able to bring him down. Swift Ending got to get dropped on this one. Timber looking to get back in on the action, and realizes he's a bit short on mana. He's got to get purged up. Mitch shows up to play now, gets the 1 vacuum, the 1 wall, and we'll be able to at least Iron Shell run down the Shadow Demon. Glimpse, pull back. It's going to be for the Slardar. Nice 2 for play there for Elements. Looks like it was going to be their first awkward trade losing Swift Ending, but they grab a couple more and continue to etch themselves just barely ahead here. We'll take an early look at the net worth. And it's been plateauing a bit at just about 6k of a net worth advantage for Elements. Same goes for XP too.
I don't even know the hockey to open the network thing now.
It happened to be the same. The graph looks very different though, I'll tell you what. It's like in night mode now.
Alright, so this is the point where if you're Radiant you start going, can we just avoid fights for a bit? We need to get Luna to have items, maybe get Dragonlance, and then we take fights on our own terms. Because all Dire want to do is fight. They've got Darkseer, they've got Void, they've got Chrono coming up in a minute now. They've got a Timbersaw who can't die. They've got an Ogre who's willing to... He's got his own hood as well. Like, they've just got 2 heroes that want to run in the front and just do whatever. Yeah. And there's not enough damage on Radiant's side in order to kill 1 or 2, let alone 5. So, team fighting is not high on the priority list for them right now.
No, definitely
not. They can do, like, slightly stray smoke ganks, which you saw just earlier, but I think that's the limit of what they'll do. And I think they're running low on smokes, but I don't know how to check in the current system.
You know, I think... Okay, looks like if I open the shop, which we will hold off, because there is a fight breaking out mid lane. Commitment of the Static Storm, but the Snowball does get off. But as he comes back, they're going to be looking to burst him apart right here. Disruption is going to be committed here, trying to shade out the Leshrac, but it's not going to help. Then the Chrono follow-up catches the remaining 3 here. Beautiful setup from Swift Ending. Can they destruct him apart and make it a 5-man wipe? And turnaround play here from aTTaX is going to be able to fend them off a bit. And Cole's going to have to turn all the way and run out on the Timbersaw. 2-for-2 trade. And look at the fight recap. Still going to be an advantage for aTTaX on this one.
Yep, Luna surviving and getting kills there is pretty important. Well, getting at least a kill. Luna needs to really just attain more net worth somehow. Get to the Manta style, get to the BKB probably at some point, and then just be able to provide enough damage that Void is not comfortable just playing with his Time War cooldown in front of her. Because once Void is in that situation where he can just go in and out as he wants to and deal as much damage and go on whoever he likes, that's the point where supports need to start being very careful. You need to start playing very defensive with your positioning, and that's not exactly how you want to be playing against a lineup like this. And he's getting closer and closer. He's got Yasha. His farm really did slow down compared to how he was doing in the early stages because of they've been looking for fights and he's been waiting to use Chrono and all that kind of stuff. But he will get items at some point. He will get his Manta style and he will be slightly more tricky to deal with. But there's no like big item on the side of Dire that's really gonna change things. So this is just how things are going to be, and it's up to Radiant to really choose if they want to expose themselves to this horrible team fight that's gonna happen to them if they choose to fight.
Slaughter, our man on a mission here, going and scouting what's happening here behind Elements, but Elements are already making their shift down this mid lane. They have some pretty deep wards planted, so they're looking to have a heavy commitment here moving forward and just kind of dominating the majority of the Radiant side, it would appear. I mean, just look at all these ridiculous wards here. 4 all spread through the southern half of this map. So Radiant looking to reside together up and above, but their farm could be stinted for now, as it's going to be left to pretty much Leshen the Luna to kind of clear these lanes, push them back, and kind of bulk up a bit further. Killing opportunities just are going to be nulled because, as you were talking about before, the team fight here from aTTaX just isn't as prominent, so I don't know if they're going to be just looking for...
Well, we are heading into the point where the single target damage on Dire becomes less apparent. Like, they've got Iron Shells, so they need heroes to be on top of the targets on the Chronosphere. They need to have the Chakram open at all times, so they've kind of... If Luna gets really, really big, they're going to have trouble actually killing her once she does get up to like the Manta, and the disruption is saved for her, and like focusing her is going to get pretty difficult. And I think this is going to get more and more difficult, and it becomes easier and easier for Radiant to avoid fights, because you see here Tusk can push up bot without any resurgence from Dire. Like, they're not going to suddenly decide to run all their heroes down bot in order to stop them farming this area, because they're happy farming their own jungle. And I think this game is going to stall for a few minutes, and then I think once they get the Manta, and once Prada maybe gets a 4-stuff or something, he's gone for Midas in order to secure his late game, but once that kind of stuff happens, I think you'll maybe see another set of smokes coming out, and they'll probably want to pick off the... I think they want to find either the Void or the Disruptor to start fights off, because that's their main control.
Nisha
but until
here.
Then, yeah.
Very deep scouting it out. But that's all it's been, because as you mentioned, it's been a bit of a grind right now. It's part of the game where I want to jump around and see if everyone actually leveled their talent, Rhyme, because you know
that's a thing. I forgot
that's
that existed.
a thing. So you know, if you forgot, it looks like everyone's been pretty good about leveling it. Luna here's got 2, opting to go both into the health and the damage side of things, not looking to go into any sort of extra Lucent Beam damage. Did anyone forget? That's the thing.
Oh, that's the thing.
It looks like everyone remembered. I mean, they might have forgotten at level 10 and then maybe remembered at 11 or 12, but for now it looks like everyone's got...
Tusk? Tusk is not. Tusk is level 10, he doesn't have a talent.
Uh-oh.
That's 20% XP gain that he's not getting.
I'm pretty positive that you always get the talent at 10 for pretty much every hero, right? Is there any case where you think you go for the spell?
I had it on Queen of Pain where you choose between like 20 damage or like halving your blink cooldown. If you're doing like Shadow Strike and Max Scream and things like that. That's one situation I noticed it. And I'm sure there are other heroes where the 4th point is very, very high value. But for the most part, I think, yeah, the talents are much stronger than single ability points are.
Alright, well, I'm sure Tusk will find his way here soon enough, as the rest of his team are thinking about going in for Roche, but this is the thing. Remember the updates and changes to Roche here in 7.0. It's actually tougher for physical heroes like these to do Roche now. His armor has been buffed up, and obviously his magic resistance, I think, was either tweaked down or kept the same. So it's just kind of saying, hey, we want more spell casting to happen here, but this is a lot tougher now for your classic Slaughter. But look who showed up to place with Ending. He's just going to drop a chrono right on everyone. There goes the wall. There goes the vacuum. And all chaos breaks out as the Eclipse will be there to follow up. No one to fall yet, but then it all breaks apart as quickly 2 hit the deck. And it's going to be Elements Pro Gaming standing tall at the end. They will lose their Timber, but he will soon come back with the shorter duration of that Bloodstone. The chase is on now, looking to go for the Slaughter Dart here. They'll get the bash, the Ion Shell damage, too good. And they'll get her done. 3 go down, and it's going to be Elements who pick up the rest of this Roche kill.
Yeah, that was... I don't want to say worst case scenario, but I think it was. Like, they use everything to burst the Timber, and they deal all this AoE damage. They use their Eclipse, they use their Leshrac damage, and then they finally kill the Timber. And then everyone else is on like 200, 300 health, and then he dies, Bloodstone heals everybody, and then there's just no more damage.
Disruption Soul Catcher on a aggressive Swift Ending. He still wants to fight it on up, though. Even with the power of the Lesh, it's not going to be good enough. Tusk is going to be committed in for a roll far from home, but he's got that Blink Dagger, and he will quickly step back and away here. But then gets glimpsed right back into trouble. Manages to get off the uppercut, but then will soon fall. The bright side is that he did level his talent at 11, though, so he's got 20% XP gain going his way, Rhyme. Nonetheless, though, the game overall doesn't seem to be going as well. His elements are moving forward for a tier 2.
Yeah, I think spending that time lowering the Roche and then basically giving Elements a free fight and a Roche is gonna come back to haunt them. Like, they lowered the Bloodstone charges a bit, but that's all they've really got out of that. And now Void will... Yeah, he's got Mjolnir in his... Oh, you can actually see the quickfire people now. That's good.
Oh.
So, yeah, he's got the Mjolnir coming up pretty soon. He's gonna have the Maelstrom, I don't know, after this tower or for a Creep Wave or something, but that's coming up fairly soon. Darks has now got his dagger, so they're going to play more aggressive with Vacuum. And all in all, defending this tower looks like a terrifying prospect. I would not want to go anywhere near that.
4 seconds, and we got a chrono to play once again. So the team fight was already a problem before, and it looks like it could continue to be a problem, especially if anything is done here in the mid lane. But we'll see what ATN think. Maybe in their minds, they're like, it might be do or die soon enough, just with how this game can accelerate. Once these heroes start peaking out and start getting to that level 20 and 25 period, they start really ramping up in potential. Those level 25 talents on some of these heroes is just ridiculous almost. Who do you think has the best level 25 talent in the game?
Best level 25 talent? There's some which are a bit silly. Like, I'm trying to think now. In this game, I think Void's is pretty good. The Time Walk cast range is absolutely insane. He's also got like 20% evasion on a talent, which is...
Radiant's bottom tower
like, you force MKBs with just no items, that's pretty good. I'm not sure which is the strongest in the game, I don't know all of them. Oh, I do know, with Quap's level 25 talent, if you buy Blade Mail or Nocturne Core, you cease to take damage if you pop Blade Mail, because of the spell Lifesteal. That is a very cool
I've heard of that, yeah, I've heard of that too. That is
I enjoyed doing that in one of my games earlier. It was very fun.
You've seen a lot of people also take advantage of the Ember chain reduction and getting Octarine Core with it.
That one just looks cruel.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that. I might do, but it looks fun to be the Ember.
So this is a new part of the game, of course. Once you get all those tier 2s down, you can then head back for those shrines and quickly take them down. And it's important to make sure you get those things taken out. I mean, it's obvious that they're an extra resource for the opposing team to kind of take advantage of, but if you happen to forget it and you're making a committed push like the bottom lane, let's say, they could still TP in from behind and do some crazy-ass smoke wraparound play from there. So it's just something that they put attention to, and it's just part of the game now, Ryan. We're going to have to accept it.
Luna becomes, well, draws closer to the BKB, and at that point she is still liable to get bashed by Void, but for the most part she becomes untouchable for most of Dire Heroes, so... But it's all about, can they do stuff in that 10-second BKB time? Like, is that BKB going to make enough difference? Will her entire team die during that BKB time? You see Lash is also going for it, so they're going to get they're going to have both their BKBs up in the next like 4 minutes or so. Luna will have it right now, but Leshrac is still a bit off. And the shrines are dying everywhere.
Get those shrines. Yep, this is hands over a little bit of gold, I want to say, like 150 or something. Let me see if it shows it here. 150. Alright. It's not bad. For 150 for everyone to grab up. No more outer towers whatsoever here for aTTaX. Nowhere out there to TP2 or get a little bit of a bonus from. They are going to be stuck indoors, it would appear. Scrapping together what remnants of a BKB they got, which obviously we see some of them in pocket now.
No, it's not too bad. Like, they're okay sitting in base. As long as they can get to the occasional creep wave and they get their BKBs up, then the only thing they have to watch out for is like a chrono out of nowhere. But if they stay split, like, they can push out with supports fairly safely. Because elements, they don't really fight too well when they're not like 3 or 4 or more. And in these small engagements, like Slardar is a lot more effective. Like, the amp damage becomes... Actually, it's not amp damage, it's a corrosive haze. That becomes more of a factor in focusing people down. I don't know why
Wait, what?
His bash is now Bash of the Deep.
Wait, what? Wait, did that just change?
Yeah, they changed that, yeah.
I did not know. I knew they reskinned him, but corrosive haze?
Yeah, they changed all the stuff about him. Like,
Bash of the Deep?
Guardian Sprint. They kept Slithering Crush because that was like fishy enough, but they need to make everything else a bit more like Slardar themed. So instead of just Bash and Amplify Damage, they've got Bash of the Deep and Corrosive Haze and... he's a bit more themed now.
Bash of Deeps.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
I find it quite silly, but well, Valve can do what they like.
Very funny.
Now you've got Radiant just kind of hiding up on this top lane, waiting for maybe someone to push it out. They don't know where Dire are right now, they're playing very scared. Slardar remains the only one lonely in the base, surrounded by Quelling Blades and branches thrown around. Void, he's got an Invis Rune.
Alright, jump in, just goes straight for the Luna, gets her with a Chrono, and with everyone else's damage stacking on top of it, she will be taken out, Rhyme, and that's 70 seconds without a Luna. Swift Ending doubles back, looking to go here for the Slardar, who gets the crush in on the back lines, back into his BKB, running back out, but they get the glimpse, they'll pull him back in, they drop the wall back behind the racks right now. Tusk is going to be rolling on in and trying to make it back in the way, but they committed with a Static Storm way back in behind. They're looking to just end the game here and now. aTTaX up against the ropes here and can't even make it back inside the fountain. 2 go down. Lesh also gone. None of them have a buyback here. Poor little Tusk can't even make it back inside. That was his dieback. And suddenly, this game could be near over. Elements.
Yep.
They do it. All right. Without even getting the racks down. They'll get it down now, but they're already going to call the game, and we're going to be going into a game number 2.
Yeah, that was rather quick. So what happened there is SD made disruption illusions of the Luna on top lane in order to push that lane out, and then Luna TP'd bot and SD TP'd with her. But the Chrono went out, and it's just like, I have a 4-second cooldown my disruption. Luna, you're going to die. So then 10-second BKB out of the window, and then base is dead. So all in all, I think they just fought way too much. They let themselves get caught, they overextended, their smokes got predicted quite easily, and they lost control of the map very early on. And I think the early excursions of like the Slardar and the Tusk, that kind of cost them, because Disruptor basically got a free lane hop, and then he got his ulti very quickly, and Void could stay bot without any threat of him dying. So I think with the way that Leshrac kept dying early on, they couldn't really use him to push towers, and they couldn't really play for objectives as much as they'd like to.
Yeah.
And I think in the next game, they couldn't really play to their draft strengths because of how the lanes and the early skirmishes went.
Yeah, no early skirmishes were had. I mean, you can even see it there in the score. Poor Tusk here. Ninja. I don't even want to try to say that one again, but 0 and 10 from him. With things out not able to kind of start out at the pace they were hoping for, it seems like it was Element's game to take, and ever since that mid-game period, it was theirs. So with that, we'll go to a bit of a reset and get prepped and ready for game number 2. I'm Kalo Guy, I'm joined by Rhyme, and we'll see you in a few minutes for game number 2 of Dota Pit's European qualifier action. Take care.